Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. We are live on Facebook. As usual, it gets a little scary whenever I hit that live button because I never know what my face is going to look like when you guys get to tune in. Sorry, I apologize. I'm trying to pull this up on Facebook to make sure I don't miss any questions. So let's talk about Bullfrog Creatives just a little bit before we go to our interview today. So something magical happened in my sleep, something that I've kind of been hoping for and didn't really know if it was going to happen, but I really, my goal was to get to 1,000 likes, and it happened. And I think it happened before I went to sleep last night. I just went to sleep real early because let's face it, 9 is the new 10. So 1,000 likes. I wanted to give away a pair of cinch jeans when I hit my 1,000 likes. So y'all be watching for that. And two other things, because I forgot to talk about it at the special edition. One is we are currently having a little contest or a little giveaway on the page right now for 4 PBR tickets. So the PBR is going to be in Casper. Let's see, this weekend, the 2nd, 3rd, and the 9th and 10th. So if y'all want to go to the bull riding, and let's face it, we all want to go somewhere because we haven't been anywhere for a real long time. Get on the Facebook page and see if you can win tickets. There's 4 tickets and you get to pick which performance that you want to go to. So it's kind of a win-win. And third thing, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We are partnering with Chicks and Chaps National, an organization out of Montana, and we are also partnering with the Wyoming Foundation for Cancer Care. So we're going to be doing some totally not rodeo related, however, related to the humanity that we all are. So we're going to be doing some giveaways for that, and we're going to be doing some stories on the blog. It's a lot harder to get people on this platform that are not involved. And so none of them want to be on TV, which I don't blame them. None of them want to be on Facebook Live. So I don't blame them. So we're going to be bringing that content to you guys over on the website and through the blog. So we're just going to be telling some stories and doing some education pieces. So without further ado, we are going to interview a gentleman today who is a former NIRA CNFR champion steer wrestler, currently serves on the board for the National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association Alumni. That is a mouthful. Even the acronym is a mouthful. So I'm really excited to chat today. I'm going to ask you a question and then I'm going to see if I can find it on Facebook here so we can make sure we don't miss any questions. Cory, Ferguson, thank you so much for joining me. Again, I appreciate your time. I really feel like you put some effort into it. You got the logo in the background. That is a true marketing person right there.
Hey, I never miss an opportunity. I try to do what I can, but thanks a bunch for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
I appreciate it. So there's a lot of question about why I'm doing this and what I'm doing. And first I'll say, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I have some long-term goals, but they're kind of questionable. However, one of the main reasons that I'm doing this is exactly what you wrote back in your email, and that's just to bring awareness and education to people that may not know what college rodeo does. But then also kind of the other side of college rodeo is that it's not just about people going to rodeos, but it's also about the education that it provides. And I think case in point, you and I, although you are still rodeoing a little bit, you said, I'm not rodeoing, but I am definitely using my education to impact the community and impact my world as I know it. And I think that's one of the main goals of the platform of College Rodeo 101 and kind of these interviews is just to make sure that we continue to spread awareness about our sport, not just college rodeo, but the sport as a whole, and then also college rodeo in particular. So I know that that's something that is a passion of yours as well. So let's talk first, let's talk about your college career. Tell me, where did you go to college, Cory?
Well, I went right here where I'm eventually back to, my home state, South Dakota. I went to, back then it was called National College of Business in Rapid City, South Dakota. And they had a great rodeo program, great rodeo team. And I was pretty privileged to be able to rodeo for National College. And then of course they changed their name and went for quite a few years, but now they no longer have a rodeo program. So even more reason to continue to support college rodeo, keep those rodeo programs going.
Yeah, for sure. So talk to me about, I know we already mentioned that you were a CNFR champion steer wrestler. Did you compete in any other events?
Yeah, I competed, well, I was a timey. I competed down in the team roping, gaff roping, and then steer wrestling was kind of were my things, and I enjoyed them all. But it just seemed like, for whatever reason, steer wrestling's kind of what I excelled at and always kind of really seemed to enjoy the most anyway, so.
I think it's the most dangerous one because I really liked goat tying as well, but it clearly was the most dangerous. So that must be something to do with it. So talk to me about, so NAU, first of all, I did not know that they got rid of their rodeo program.
Yeah, and I can't even tell you which year that was. It's been a number of years ago, but you know, the college now, for all intents and purposes, is defunct now. They've pretty much gone just to online, but they had a really strong rodeo program for a lot of years, and a lot of some number of champions out of that college, and we had a phenomenal practice facility, and just a lot of I felt pretty privileged to be up here in the north to have an indoor practice facility, so it worked out really well.
Yeah, I mean, I think, geez, now that brings up so many more reasons for us. I think, in this last spring, obviously a lot of things were shut down, and there were a few colleges here in Wyoming that cut their entire athletic programs, but left their college rodeo program intact. And I don't know if it's because of the environment that we're in. It might be similar in South Dakota as well, but rodeo is just as much a sport as any other college athletics. So I'm really excited to see that they kept those programs intact. However, it also is one of the driving forces behind this broadcast and kind of my focus on college rodeo is that, those cuts were made, and who's to say that the rodeo program is not going to be next?
Right.
And so I think you're right, 100%. One of the main reasons that we, me being Bullfrog Creatives and doing this platform, but then you now with your experience on the board for the NIRAA, the Alumni Association, definitely big reasons to get involved with those types of organizations.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the organizations like the Alumni Association, I mean, they help, provide scholarships for those college students to keep rodeoing, to keep getting their education. It is so crucial. So, I can't pound that drum enough that, we need to continue to support college rodeo, and the Alumni Association is one of the great ways to be able to continue to do that.
So let's talk about the Alumni Association and kind of the scholarships that the money that you raise and where it goes at the national level. I mean, so I know when I was in college, I got a scholarship because I was second in the region. So there's regional scholarships, and then there are also scholarships that the kids can win or earn at the CNFR as well. So can you kind of talk to me about the role that the NIRAA plays in those scholarships?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're, and don't quote me, I'm afraid now I'm trying to think back on all this, but, we'll give, each year we're going to give $30,000 in scholarships. So, that's nothing to sneeze at. And, and the more people that we can get contributing to that, the more money we're going to be able to give to those college students and help them keep going down the road and further their college educations, and as well as their college rodeo careers as well. So it's a great thing to be able to do, and not just, I'm not just going to toot the Alumni Association's horn. I mean, all scholarships are awesome. It's kind of how I got my career start, which is another story, and I don't know whether you want to go down that road, but how I kind of got my career started was through a college scholarship that I was interested in, and so I've been interested in college rodeo, college education, college scholarships ever since I've been in college. I mean, it helped me pay for my college and helped keep me going to get my college education. I can't say enough about them, they're the lifeblood.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think what a lot of people don't understand is that, not only are these kids winning money, we pay entry fees, or the contestants, everybody pays entry fees at the collegiate level, and we do win money back. However, we can earn the scholarship money. So you may not know, and I'm going to try to remember from my time, but everyone that qualifies for the CNFR gets some type of a scholarship. I think I was second in the region, and so I think mine was a $500 scholarship that went back to the college that I was attending. And then now, do go-round winners receive scholarships, and then average winners also receive that scholarship money, or is it just the culmination, kind of the year-end winners?
Well, it's culmination, but it's the average winners receive that, and the year-end winners receive scholarships. So and we want to continue to expand that, so if there's more and more scholarships, so that we can give, we'd like to be able to continue to give more and more. The more the better. I mean, so that's the way we're looking at it. But of course, it takes fundraising and people contributing, becoming members of the Alumni Association to be able to continue to do that.
So I want to talk just a little bit more about this, and then we'll come back to you and where you've been and kind of some things that you have experienced since your college career. So we did have kind of a Scholarship Monday interview very early in the spring season, or in the spring. And we had Susan Canode on, who kind of manages the Shane Drury Nothing But Try scholarships. And then we also had, and oh my gosh, her name has just escaped me, George Howard's wife, cannot remember her first name. Anyway, so there's a George Howard Memorial Scholarship that they also give away. And so we had lots of conversations about scholarships and when to reach out, when to apply, and where to go for those. And so it's very fitting. I think it's awesome that you are kind of giving back in that place. I would also add, if we have any business owners that are here or individual people that are here that are interested in giving to the NIRAA scholarship program, hit me up, hit Cory up. We can make those connections for you, and obviously would love the support. So I would also add that I think going to it's got to be an interesting conversation when you approach kind of a new donor in respects, because sometimes college rodeo athletes can get kind of a bad shake and maybe have a reputation that may or may not be suitable. But I would say that it gives you an opportunity to kind of shed light on the sport of rodeo and our student athletes in a different way that maybe some people don't stereotypically think of when they think about rodeo. And so what a great opportunity you have to really carry the torch on what a great organization the NIRA is, but also what amazing kids we work with.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it goes for pro sports too. I mean, that rodeo is a little bit different than most pro sports, and college sports are a little bit different than rodeo. Just, they're all sports and they should be held in the same light. But as I don't have to explain to you that, that for the most part, rodeo athletes, they don't get paid to show up. They have to pay their own way. They have to, pay their own expenses, pay their own entry fees. I mean, it's crazy, and then, there's no guarantee that there's going to be a payback at the end of the day. Whereas, like a pro athlete, they get paid whether they win or lose or whatever. So, it's a different way to look at it. And when you can kind of explain that to people and show that, that college rodeo athletes and rodeo athletes in general do it because they love the sport. I mean, that's the driving force. I mean, it's not because they're all going to become rich off this, because that's not the case. It's more of a, hey, I do this because I love it. It's what I know, it's what I love, it's in my blood kind of thing. So
yeah, for sure. And I would also say, I've watched, and you have too, I guarantee, and a lot of our viewers have too, a lot of different rodeos. I mean, typically people in this industry that have the love for the passion for the sport have been to lots of different rodeos, and different between college, collegiate, high school, amateur, junior rodeos. But even at this level, it's just a different kind of, a different kind of try. Like, there's something to be said about that saying, that kid's got the college try. And you're not going to see maybe at the NFR, I will stand by this, but you know, any other type of event, you're not going to see them going that extra mile or dragging the behind, you know, grabbing the steer by the tail just so they can get him down and stay in that average. You know, it's just not, it's just kind of uncommon, but you will see it in the sport of rodeo at the NFR, but definitely at the CNFR for sure. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just it's a little bit different level of commitment because of that, I think.
I agree. And, you know, the other thing that I'd like to add is just you know, that I've always noticed in rodeo, and it's fairly well known within the rodeo world, the camaraderie between all the contestants, and not only that, but families. I mean, this is something where you start, you know, when you're 8 years old approximately, or a little bit less, and you know, and you do it together as a family. You travel around rodeo as a family, and you might even compete in some of the same rodeos as a family. I mean, it is truly, you know, what I look at as one of the true family sports that's left out there. That, you know, the heritage, you know, besides everything else, the heritage is awesome, but you know, it's that camaraderie and that family aspect that you know, that you just can't get in a lot of other sports.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. Like we were talking off camera, we know some of the same people. I'm sure if we were friends on Facebook, we would have a lot of mutual friends. But rodeo is one of the, and I've been saying it a lot lately. I feel myself saying it a lot. It's like a one big small family, you know, one big
Yes.
industry that really is. There's no 5 degrees of separation with rodeo. It's like maybe 1 or 2 at
Right.
most. You know, when I started interviewing coaches, come to find out some of the coaches went to school with my brother, or, you know, so but like everybody knows somebody or knew somebody or rodeoed with their sister or their brother or their mom and dad. I mean, there's just so many connections, and it runs deep. And the camaraderie, I would say for me personally, is what I miss the most. I'm kind of a social butterfly anyways, which that's a whole nother conversation that my dad and I used to have in high school. Like, what are you here for? I'm here to see all my friends. What do you think I'm here for? So, but that kind of connection, which I would also add, like so many people are missing that connection right now. And while we are lucky to be in states that have come out of lockdown or did not even go in lockdown, we're still missing a large portion of that connectedness in the US right now. So rodeo as just in its own nature is that piece for people.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
So let's talk a little bit more about you personally. So I know what Meryl sent to me, and she said, this is who you should do next. And so I said, okay, let's do it. So talk to me a little bit about kind of where you went. What did you go to school for?
I went to school got a double major, business administration with an emphasis on marketing, and also a paralegal degree. And was kind of heading towards maybe a law career. And then because of college rodeo, like I was kind of saying, it kind of took me in another direction, which was kind of cool. I actually was college rodeoing. All of a sudden I started winning some scholarships through, then it was Copenhagen School. Yep. And so I was like, well, this is pretty cool. This company gives away scholarships. So I started inquiring around and asking, hey, you know, where do these scholarships come from? And started asking a few people, and they said, well, hey, you know, you can call this guy. He has some connections. So I cold called this guy up in Bismarck, North Dakota. He was the sales division manager for Copenhagen School, and just said, hey, you know, I really appreciate, you know, what Copenhagen School does for rodeo. I won these scholarships. It's awesome. And I'm just interested in the company. Wouldn't be interested maybe in doing a little something for the company. And he said, well, hey, meet me in a few weeks here at the Days of 76 in Deadwood, South Dakota, and I'll put you to work. And the rest was kind of history. It kind of changed my course of my life. I started working for Copenhagen School, you know, at part-time in college, and then offered me a full-time job out of college, and worked for them for 20 years until they were bought out, and kind of they went in another direction. But that really plotted the course of my career, and took me into event marketing, which has kind of been my area of expertise. So yes, it was pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. So of course, for those of you that do not know, Cope School was a major sponsor for the NIRA and the CNFR um, 20, I think I want to say over 20 years ago. Because I remember them having their information here set up at the college finals here. And so it's not, I mean, it seems like it's not been very long, but it has been because,
Yeah,
when we get older, our memories get shorter and things were just yesterday. So we'll just
that's
say
right.
that. So it does seem like it was not that long ago that Cope School kind of stepped away from the CNFR and from the NIRA as a whole, but what a great opportunity. And I'm not going to lie, like they played a role, they had internships or something, because I remember also having that same conversation with a lot at one point during my college career also, when that they had offered internships to the regional directors or something like that.
Yep.
But I would say that yours is probably not the only trajectory that got changed by that organization.
Absolutely. I mean, they were, at the start of, way back when college rodeo was kind of getting its feet under it, Copenhagen's Goal, or U.S. Smokeless Tobacco, they were one of the forerunners of offering scholarships, and they carried that program on for years and years. And yeah, I can't tell you how many college rodeo students went on to have careers with them, and just a phenomenal program. So it just shows to me, that was one. I'm glad you asked about that, because it was one story I wanted to share, because really scholarships help pave my career. I mean, it of course got me through college, but it really paved my career for the rest of my life, for the trajectory that I took. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say, I think that there were a lot of people, sorry, now I'm getting like real work text messages. There were a lot of people that were concerned when US Smokeless pulled out. And I would say that that's probably when the NIRAA really stepped up to kind of fill, and also some many other national sponsors. And I don't want to take away from them either, but
Right.
that sponsorship money plays such a huge role in these student athletes' lives that somebody had to fill that void. And so I think between the national sponsors and what the NIRAA has done, it did fill the void, but it definitely was it was missed for a while.
Yeah, and and I just one quick side note, and I don't want to get sidetracked here too much, but I try to stress to college students, to rodeo athletes, to anybody that is, because I'm of course been involved in event marketing forever. You, as an athlete or as an event or whatever the case may be sure to thank your sponsors, patronize your sponsors. I mean, they, as you touched on it, they're the lifeblood of these events and for these students and whatnot. And I can't say enough about your sponsors. You just want to make sure that when you see a sponsor, whoever it may be, Cinch or whoever the case may be, make sure that you thank those folks and you patronize their business as much as you can. So.
Yeah, and I think, especially this day and age, so many people are, you show your support by going in the building and spending your money there, whether it's a small business or whether it's a big box. Like that's how you show your support. And so I think it seems to be a little more prevalent this day and age than maybe in the past, but it definitely hasn't changed. I try to mention the people that help me out on here as much as I can, and it's probably overkill, but it really, really is important. It's important to me. It's important to my family. And I would say my 1,000 viewers, it is important to them too. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Cory, so you were with US Smokeless. I assume you then played a pretty big role with their relationship with the college finals.
I did. I had such a great career, such a great company, traveled all over the country, moved around, got a few promotions, and which took me around the country. But, I ended up kind of starting out on the sales side, and then ended up on the event side, and getting to go to the college finals, the NFR, a lot of the big events, and on the event side, and just such a great opportunity. And, it really helped shape the career that I'm still on. I'm still involved in event marketing, and that's what I love to do. It's kind of ended up being my passion. So, it shaped me considerably.
So that's funny. What changed my career path in college was a major back injury and surgery, and I didn't want anything to do with anything medical after that. See ya. So there's lots of different things that can change your path. So Cory, talk to me now about your involvement with rodeo, if you do still have involvement, or kind of what that looks like for you now.
Well, yeah, I mean, after I left US Smokeless, I did a couple other things, worked for the PBR for a couple of years down in Pueblo, Colorado, and I loved that, worked on the event side, of course, on that as well. And then had an opportunity, I'd been away from South Dakota for 25 years and had an opportunity to come back, and I worked for, came back and worked for the Black Hills Stock Show / Central States Fair, phenomenal events up here, and did that for a number of years. But anyway, the moral of the story is it brought me back home, and now I work for Monument Health, which is the largest healthcare provider in Western South Dakota, and the largest employer in Western South Dakota. And I'm kind of I'm their community relations person and handle their sponsorships. So sponsor, that was the one thing that was, as everything was shut down this year, even in South Dakota, even though we weren't really on a shutdown, rodeo was really the only thing that was still the only game in town. And South Dakota was one of the only games you could come play in. So still had a lot of, from the kids rodeos, like the Little Britches in high school and on up to the PRCA, still had rodeos going on here in South Dakota. So I got an opportunity to still sponsor a lot of those rodeos here in South Dakota and get to go and attend those. So still kept me going, even with the shutdown. So it was nice to be able to still have that opportunity this year.
That's great. So are you rodeoing? Are you still rodeoing, or is that kind of a pastime now?
Let's just say I always tell everybody I'm semi-retired. So I'll if somebody twisted my arm enough, I would probably jump a steer and still looking at this spring. I keep telling myself I'm going to pick up another team roping horse and start team roping a little bit more again. And I still play and I still go to as many rodeos as I can. And I just in more of what I do, I just like to support rodeos. I help. I'm on our local high school, my alma mater for high school. I'm on their booster club and help them put on Sturgis, South Dakota here, and help them put on their rodeo and help with some other rodeos around here, and just do what I can to help support, continue to support rodeo, not just in Western South Dakota, but all over the United States. And that brought me to the Alumni Association. I can't say enough that we need to keep all rodeo going, but college rodeo is one place where it's pretty near and dear to my heart. So I want to continue to keep that going as well.
Well, and I can tell you, the decision to cancel, as if anybody has gone back or was with me in the early days of the College Rodeo 101, but the conversation that I had with Roger early on in the year about the cancellation of the CNFR, I mean, that was early April. That was a big decision, a big financial decision. It definitely has impacted the NIRA and probably will continue to impact them for a little while. I have no insider trading information, but I have been on the event planning side of it. And I know that expenses were already paid at that point. And so I think given that situation and knowing that there's going to be a couple of years to kind of build that back up, these kinds of conversations and that kind of support that you're talking about is so crucial right now. At a national level, as far as the organization is concerned, but then also at the college and local level to make sure that funding doesn't go away. These types of conversations have to happen, and it's so important. Yeah. I mean, I would encourage each of you, if you benefited from it in any way, now is the time to reach out and see if there's anything you can do to give back. And while that typically isn't the platform that, like what we talk about on the platform, it definitely is a driving force for me, just to make sure that like, this is how I can give back. And if I can encourage other people to do the same, then I'm going to do that.
Yeah. With COVID and this whole mess that we've gotten ourselves into, there's been so many businesses that have gone under and so many events that have shut down. and people are wondering, well, are they going to be able to have that event in the future? And now more than ever is the time to support the events that you know and love, your local, your little local amateur rodeo on up to college rodeo to professional rodeo. You got to support that. I mean, we just a couple days ago finished the PRCA Tour finals here in Rapid City, and so it was nice that we were able to host that, and of course the NFR's moving locations, and a lot of crazy stuff still going on. So yeah, the time is now to more than ever to support, if you sure can, because you don't want to see your local amateur rodeo not be able to continue, or your local pro rodeo, or your local college rodeo. So yeah, support.
Yeah, for sure. So Cory, let's talk about, you said that you were brought back to the CNFR as a champion. So I know a little bit about that, but so the CNFR every year has alumni night. I believe it's Friday night. It gets etched in your mind, like what each day is after a little while on the production team, So every year they recognize, what is it, a decade, which sounds crazy, but college rodeo has been along for a real long time. So they recognize a decade of champions. So you were brought back to be recognized as a past champion, and here you are now. That's when they make the ask, you should come be on the board, you should join us, help us carry this forward. How long now have you been on the board then?
Well, let's see, it would have been, I won the championship, and I date myself here.
Here you go.
But 88. So back in 2018, they honored on back the dates, and of course then the nines, so on and so forth. And so I blame Merrill Ellis and Don Reichert for talking me into attending that year, and it was so worth it. I just brought back so many memories just to be able to go back and see some old friends and really just relive that experience. And so I went back for the Alumni Association, and it was great to attend that banquet and all the activities that week. And of course then, yeah, I guess it was, I kind of joked with you earlier that, yeah, it was a nice form of bribery, because yeah, I kind of left there and ended up getting on the board of directors. And so I have Don and Merrill to thank for that. But no, it's been a blast. I just again, I can't say enough, just to have this opportunity to be able to represent the Alumni Association and help keep college rodeo alive and help make a difference in these kids' lives. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So you've been involved in rodeo and kind of this industry for a while. What do you think has changed the most in your time?
Oh gosh, what's changed the most, and I don't know, I guess just because it's been what we've been talking about, and so it's kind of a top of mind. It's the sponsors. The back in the day with pro rodeo, when I was pro rodeoing, there wasn't such a thing as having sponsors. They didn't sponsor contestants, and now that's been such a huge opportunity for especially the top tier contestants. The lower tier contestants are still kind of scratching and fighting, but those top tier contestants, at least they have an opportunity to reach out. And even on a local level, those contestants can go to some of their local sponsors and get sponsored now. And that really was unheard of back when I was kind of heading down the road, and it was 100% funded on your own. So that has changed the landscape a little bit. Of course, I just think the back in the day too, everybody used to think they were an athlete, but I don't know if they really, there were some exceptions. But now, you go to a rodeo like this tour finals last week, and those guys are true. I'd put them up against any athlete out there. I mean, these men and women are true athletes, and and as far as the horses too, from the tying event to the rough stock. I mean, you go to the PBR now. I mean, look at the bulls they have in the PBR. I mean, it just the quality has continued to increase in every. So the competition is just phenomenal out there, and I just continues. There's such heritage with rodeo, but I want to see rodeo just getting stronger and stronger for the next 10, 20, 30 years. So.
Yeah, it's been, I would say something that I've kind of noticed too is that it seems like, of course, with social media, it is a curse and a blessing. And I will say that all day, every day, but it has allowed, it's allowed kind of those cowboys and cowgirls are just scratching the surface. It gives them a platform to build and to create their own marketing and create their own following. Whereas before, like it just was a lot more difficult to get those sponsorships also.
Yeah, well, I think it's made the stereotypical cowboy kind of evolve a little bit.
Yeah.
It's gone past the yeps and nopes and how how you answer in interviews and things like that. If you really want to be out there and compete, you got to become a marketer. You got to learn how to market yourself a little bit and market the sport, market yourself. That's what it's all about now, and that's what it's going to continue to be.
Yeah. So I think, we're coming up on, almost 40 minutes. Goodness. We are both, you can tell when you get two marketing people in here because they get all the sound bites out that they can. And I'm kind of like that.
I could go on for a lot longer. So
I know. And I have to remind myself that maybe everybody else probably isn't like that. So you get two of us on here and we could go all day. So thank you, Cory, so much. I appreciate your time and I appreciate your time here, but I also appreciate your time giving back to the organization and giving back to the scholarships and the sponsorships. It is appreciated. I did get a scholarship through the NIRAA, and it's greatly appreciated. I know that I've had a lot of questions about scholarships and where kids can go and how they can get scholarships. And so I think having these conversations is really important.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been great. So I want to thank you for joining us today. And then also want to let everybody know again, if you're tuning in live, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you tuning in. If you are rewatching and you have questions or you have comments or anything, please feel free to post them below. And if you have any questions, we'll try to come back around and get to those. And again, special thanks to Cinch Jeans for helping me bring this content out. You got to get those plugs in there. And special thanks to you and the NIRAA. I know they've been sharing all the interviews, and I will continue to reach out and get some ideas for other people to interview. I have some other things in the works for who we're going to be having on next. And I will reiterate, because in case you did not live watch it at the very beginning, two things. There is a ticket giveaway for the PBR that's going to be held here in Casper for the next couple of weekends. Make sure you find that post on the Facebook page and do all the things, comment, like, tag, and there is a trivia question. So I feel like you have to work a little bit for it. Not too hard, but a little bit. And then also just want to give you guys a heads up. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It doesn't impact you until it does. And then, you know what, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. And so we're going to bring a little bit of awareness to this platform, partnering with Chicks and Chaps, which is a national organization out of Missoula, Montana, and also partnering with Wyoming Foundation for Cancer Care here in Casper. Clearly, it is a topic that I never wanted to be near and dear to my heart, but it definitely has been in the last year. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that over the next few weeks. And we will have some more giveaways. And we're at over 1,000 likes on the Facebook page. So we're going to have a giveaway for that, hopefully also in the next couple of weeks. So thank you guys so much for your ongoing support. And again, thank you, Cory, and all of the alumni that we have had on the show or the broadcast or the live Facebook feed. I don't know, on the conversations. So we appreciate your time and also appreciate you giving back to your community a little bit. So for all you Facebook fans, see you next Monday.
Thank you.